Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments. So in this video, we are going to start talking about how to invest and how to properly collect high-grade, investment-grade rare coins. So if you're not into rare coins, you have no interest in coins, probably this video isn't going to be for you. But I at least want to do an introductory video on this particular topic because I think it's very important to set the stage as to why so many successful people in the antiques and collectibles trade are gravitated not just towards coins, currency, the realm of the market that we call numismatics, but also why a lot of these people also choose to invest in traditional antiques, artwork, historical documents, items that pretty much represent history, an important iconic history no less. So I'm going to start off with an example. And we're going to ease into this topic because I know a lot of you are really hoping for me to do an introductory course on how to get started in rare coins. First, this is not a collecting category for the faint at heart. You can lose money investing in rare coins. There are no guarantees in the antiques and collectibles trade, just like there's no guarantees in the stock market, the financial markets. If you form a business and that business fails, you can go bankrupt. The same thing is true with buying or selling any of these items over the long term or even the short term. Now, what I like about the rare coin marketplace is at present time, it seems to be devoid of a lot of the speculation that takes place in the pop culture collecting categories. Vintage video games, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, vintage comic books, toys, action figures, all those markets are very speculative. Now, to be fair, if you're trying to build long-term wealth and you already are established in the financial markets and you want to move a portion of your assets to the antiques and collectibles trade, I truly believe you should have exposure to both short-term speculative collectibles and also long-term hold-type collectibles and antiques. Now, it's the long-term antiques and collectibles that I like the most, but most people out there under the age of 40 consider them very boring because the market for a lot of rare coins, if you know what you're doing, honestly guys, it goes like this and is stable with some uptick. If you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to spend $5,000 on a coin, sell it literally 2 years later for $3,000 because you don't understand the idiosyncrasies of the market. Now, when we talk about rare coin investing, what I'm really referring to is pretty much coins that cost on average $1,500 a piece and or more that are considered scarce and or rare due to their condition and all overall scarcity on the market. For instance, if you want to collect Walking Liberty half dollars, I collect Walking Liberty half dollars. The difference is I just spent close to $4,800 in the last heritage auctions on a 1920 S 50 cent Walking Liberty half dollar in MS64 plus condition that was CAC stickered. Now, if you don't know what any of those terms mean that I just said, MS64, CAC, stickered, PCGS, don't worry, I'm going to get to that. What I want to do is do a gentle primer in this particular video, then expand on it in further videos, and I also want to tell you why I like investing in traditional antiques, coins, and currency for the long term as opposed to pop culture-based collectibles. So I'm sure some of you watching this video remember the movie, they play it around every Christmas, A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story is an iconic Christmas classic film. Now, ironically, younger generations, maybe in their 20s, maybe younger than 20, that are growing up watching that film, there's certain pop culture references that are made in that movie that probably causes younger generations to start scratching their head. And you may be wondering why I'm talking about this subject matter in a video directed towards coins. Well, it's going to come full circle in a little bit here, guys. Just bear with me a little bit. In the movie A Christmas Story, it stars Ralphie, young Ralphie, who lives in probably a Midwestern state in the United States of America, sometime in the 1940s or the 1950s, and all he wants for Christmas is a Red Ryder Daisy BB gun. And all the adults keep telling him, son, you'll shoot your eye out if we get you that particular gift for Christmas. So the story is a classic tale because it centers around Ralphie growing up in Midwestern America, again, in a different time frame, 40s or 50s, and what he does to get this Red Ryder Daisy BB gun for Christmas. Well, ironically, he does get that gift for Christmas. But if you go back and you watch that movie, there's a lot of pop culture references that really have very little relevance today. In that particular movie, the name Annie Oakley is mentioned. Ovaltine is mentioned. And of course, Daisy BB guns are mentioned. Those three pop culture icons, which were very popular in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, even heading into the 1970s, today are almost non-existent. This is the case I lay out when people come to me and they claim, Sean, I'm going to invest $50,000 in graded video games, or Magic the Gathering cards, or Pokemon cards, or vintage action figures, or Lego sets, and they think all throughout history these items are going to continue to go up in value. There is a limit to what most people will pay for those type of items on the secondary market, number one. And number two, eventually their relevance will wear off. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 40 years from now, or even 100 years from now. Make no mistake, at one point in the future, the value of everything is going to practically go to zero. That includes Magic the Gathering, graded video games, Pokemon, and yes, even some cherished antiques. I don't mean to sound biased against collectibles and extremely nuanced towards antiques. Both markets work the same, but there's certain differences that set antique investing apart from collectibles investing. Let me use this as an example. This is a brand new, old stock, Mark's Toys signal pistol firing gun. This would have been sold in the 1950s. As a matter of fact, I don't think it has a copyright on this. This thing is literally new old stock, guys. All I did was open the box and pull this out so you could see it. Today, on the secondary market, if I were to list this on eBay, yeah, it would get bids. It would get bids. This item would be worth anywhere from $50 to $100 in the secondary market. On eBay, honestly, I would expect an item like this to sell for 40 to 60 bucks, just to be honest, in today's marketplace. That being said, back in the 1980s, this item would have been worth over $100 to $200 today. The cultural relevance of Mark's Toys has worn off because the generation that grew up in the 1950s, they're getting ready to either go into the nursing home, or they're enjoying their retirements, or heaven forbid, some of them are 6 feet under the ground, already dead. So you got to understand that when we look at pop culture collectibles, items like this have a point in time where they reach their peak. This is why a lot of you guys reach out to me and you say, hey Sean, what do you think about graded video games? And I tell you the truth. Some graded video games are going to go up in value. Others, though, over the course of the next 5, 10, 15 years, they're going to stabilize. And if you end up paying $5,000, $7,000 for one of those video games and the price stabilizes, you may go to sell it 10 to 15 years. You may only get $3,000 to $5,000 for that game that you paid $7,000 for, or less, possibly more. Nobody knows. The market's uncertain. But there are certain truths when we analyze the market for pop culture collectibles that we can come to just because of what happened in the past to other collectibles like this. And ironically, I did a video on collectors wanting to open museums. There actually was, if you research it, a Mark's Toy Museum at one point that went belly up. Does that sound familiar with all these people that want to open up museums devoted to vintage action figures, comic books, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Nintendo, whatever the subject matter is? You must understand that at some point, its cultural relevance will decrease. Whether that's insignificant or significant. At some point, the cultural relevance of that pop culture property, of that item in question, is going to eventually lessen in the market as a whole. Now that being said, what does this have to do with investing in coins now that we're 10 minutes into this video almost? Well, when you analyze the market for coins, coins are historic. Coins represent the culture or the nation that they're issued in. So there's a lot of people that look at the coin collecting marketplace and they don't understand that it's cyclical. It goes in cycles. There's boom and bust cycles. in a lot of these structured and more established antique markets. Whereas if boom and bust cycles happen sometimes in these collectible markets, they pretty much collapse the entire collecting category. If you don't believe me, look at what happened with Beanie Babies. Look at what's going to happen with Funko Pops. Even Amiibo. Amiibo being a Nintendo product, I get there's a lot of people that love Nintendo and collect Nintendo out there. Eventually, that market is going to eventually collapse or it's going to lessen. There's going to be a lot of people in the next coming years that are not going to be interested in Amiibo anymore. It was a once-and-a-done thing that Nintendo created. So when we look at coins, coins are a very cyclical market. It's a very healthy market. I've said this before. The coin collecting market, just for vintage classic coins, mint in the United States, from the 1700s all the way up to the early 1900s. That market alone has a market cap of $3.5 billion to $4 billion per year. That's how much product is changing hands every single year. It is one of the most sophisticated and established markets in the trade. So let's say that you want to start to diversify assets into that market. You want to know what I want you to do? I want you to do absolutely nothing. What I need you to do is do the research, read the books that I'm going to show you in this particular video, and go on the websites that I'm going to talk about in this particular video and just learn the market, guys. So that's where we're going to start. So for under $20, you can go on Amazon right now and you can get a copy of each one of these books that I'm going to show you. The first book is The Coin Collector's Survival Manual. This was written by Scott A. Travers, who is an expert in coin collecting, coin investing, and understands the market significantly. This book will save you a lot of pain and a lot of headaches if you buy it and you read it cover to cover. Now, if you get this book in the mail, you spend $20, $25 on this book on Amazon, you get it in the mail and you go, you know what? This subject matter is boring. This really doesn't appeal to me. Then guess what? You got your answer. Coins are not for you. So all you did was you spent $20, $25 and you already know that coin collecting, coin investing is not for you. If, however, you read this and you go, wow, I didn't realize the coin collecting marketplace was so nuanced. There's a lot of great information in here, from investing in gold to investing in classic silver coins. This is really something interesting. What I want you to do, I want you to then go on to this book. This is called The Insider's Guide to U.S. Coin Values. This is the 20th edition, and this was also written by Scott A. Travers. Now, to be fair, full disclosure, I am not corporately sponsored. I have never even met Scott A. Travers. I'm just recommending these books because when I got into coin collecting many, many years ago, a couple of very prominent coin dealers pointed me towards these books and other research matter that I'm going to discuss in this video and told me if you read these books and you understand them, you will be 90% ahead of most of your competition. And over the years, I remembered that because a lot of the information that I gained from these books, I still use to this day. So now, the one thing that I want to state about these books, sometimes prices are mentioned. The thing that you have to keep in mind is the pricing information in these books is invalid. It makes no sense to use any of that pricing information at present time because some of these books are a little bit showing their age. Some were written in 2015 because all these have been updated. Like, for instance, this is the 20th edition of this book. This is the revised 7th edition of this book. So when I was exposed to these books, I was probably reading the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th editions. It just so happens that over the years I've rebought these books and I like to keep current on the newest editions. So that's why I have them in my library of books. The next thing I want you to do, the very next thing I want you to do, I want you to register for a free, 100% free, Heritage Auctions sign-up registration for a bidder account. I don't want you to bid on anything. Please, do me a favor. Do not rush out and buy coins. But what I want you to do, every month or every other month at present time, I know coronavirus pretty much threw the schedule off a little bit, Heritage Auctions pretty much runs a major coin or currency auction right on their website. They do weekly auctions. I don't want to get into that because in my opinion, most of the stuff in their weekly auctions, no offense to Heritage at all, is the lower quality stuff. I don't want you to pay any attention to that stuff. What I want you to focus on is the major coin and currency auctions that they host on their website every several months. For instance, I just bidded on 2 items from the Central States auction. Matter of fact, when I get them, I'm going to open them on camera for you guys so you guys can see what I invest in when I go after rare coins and rare currency. Now, that being said, I just want you to pay attention to the final prices that are shown throughout these auctions and also look at what's coming up for bid. What might you be interested in? Do you know how to grade? Do you understand why there can be 2 coins that are of the same grade, same mint mark, same condition, graded by the same grading company, and one is selling for significantly higher than the other? You need to understand all these nuances. Because one thing, when you look at comic books, when you look at graded video games, when you look at graded magic cards, let's be honest. A PSA 10 Library of Alexandria graded magic card is pretty much the same as the other PSA 10 Library of Alexandria Magic the Gathering card. Pretty much, if you search completed auctions on eBay or Heritage, if they sold any of that stuff lately, it'll come up. You'll see that the prices are very close or similar to what the previous item sold for, provided it was within several months of bidding. Now, with coins, it's a little bit different. You can have 2 coins, like I said, same grade, same mint mark, same grading company, and they could sell for 2 different prices just because the eye appeal on that one coin is better than the other coin that sold for a lower amount. So this is something else that you need to understand. There is an app on your phone, let me show you, that you can download free of charge. I want to show you this. It is called PCGS. I don't know if you can see it with the glare, guys. You probably can't. It's called PCGS Coin Fax. And all you got to do is go to the App Store, or if you use an Android device, go to your phone's App Store, and you can download this free of charge. And what PCGS Coin Fax does is it compiles all the selling data, all the price history of pretty much every United States type coin that is on the market today and puts all that information right at your fingertips. There's even videos that will show you how to grade coins. This is probably one of the most spectacular apps that is completely free to anybody who wants to use it. So now, if you're registered on Heritage, if you're using the wonderful app for PCGS Coin Fax, and you've read these 2 books, and you still sit there and go, you know what, I'm really not into coins. I'm just not feeling it. Please do not invest in coins. To make money in the coin marketplace over the long term, because this is not a short-term flip. You guys who are out there flipping Pokemon cards every 6 months, or buying comic books, or buying video games thinking that they're going to go up 10% every 3 to 6, 7, 8 months, that's not realistic when we look at rare coins. We're going to talk more about this in an upcoming video because I'm already running close to 20 minutes on this particular video at present time. But what I want you to understand, coins are held for the long term. You make money by buying quality, rare, investment-grade coins and holding them, generally 10 years or longer, guys. It is a very boring, very nuanced market when you get involved in it from that angle. Now, if you're a dealer, if you have decades of coin collecting and investing behind you, yeah, you can hit the market, you can look for deals, you can learn how to crack out coins from their holder that may be undervalued or selling at a discount on the market at that particular time. You can send them to another grading company, whether NGC, PCGS, whatever it is, and try to get a bump up in grade and make your money that way. That is probable. But most novice collectors cannot start at that entry point. Even me, I am an experienced coin collector. I do very little with crackouts or regrading or any type of quick flips in the coin marketplace. Most of my coins, most of my pieces of currency that I have in my collection are there for the long term. Meaning I'm buying those items knowing that I'm probably going to have to hold those items for 5, 10, 15, 20 years or more if I want to turn a profit when I sell. That is the realism of the current coin collecting marketplace. Now that being said, I know what you're asking. Well, Sean, if that's true, why do so many millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires put their money in coins? Because the market is so established. Coins, currency, certain traditional antiques, all these investment grade items that strata the realm of history they all feature one thing that most collectibles lack. You know what it is? They've become so advanced, their markets are so sophisticated, that these items become a store of value. There's very few collecting categories at present time that I can pretty much sit here and confidently say, hey, if you put $5,000 in this collecting category, you will not, if done right, lose money. Well, when it comes to coins and currency and traditional antiques, I can't promise you that. But I can tell you, your chances are higher of preserving your initial capital in those markets, coins, currency, high-end artwork, antiques, antiquities, historical documents. A lot of those markets are meant to be used as a store of value to diversify your assets from financial threats, the stock market, inflation, other, how do I want to say this, inflationary measures that may take away your potential of value in those particular items. So what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying that coin collecting, if done right, is devoid of all risk. But what I am telling you, if it's done right, you have a greater chance of holding the money that you are investing in that market and also potentially making more. Now, do I know of coin collectors that sold the wrong item at the wrong time, or they overpaid for something at auction, and when they went to sell it, they got clobbered on the secondary market? Absolutely. All you got to do is visit the PCGS Coin Collectors Forum, even the NGC Coin Collectors Forum. There's tons of people that have stories to tell in that manner. It's not a surefire thing, guys. But if it's done right, you will build a six-figure collection over the course of 10, 20, 30 years through prudently investing in high quality and rare investment grade coins. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope this primer, along with the cultural reference I used, has helped to serve you well. If it hasn't, let me know in the comments section below. Because what we're going to talk about next time, I'm going to do this series, I'm going to release one video a week going forward on coins alone. That's where we're going to go in this direction. I'm still going to release other content, but there's going to be one video a week on this channel for the next few weeks devoted just to coins. Next week, we're going to talk about the importance of CAC, Certified Acceptance Corporation. That has caused a massive catalyst in the coin collecting marketplace that we need to discuss in depth, because if you are going to invest in this market, you must understand the value and the validity of CAC stickered coins going forward. So until next time, I wish you well. I hope you're all safe. I thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing. I do have some more videos on Lego, comic books, video games, and of course, vintage and modern era vinyl records, which are going to be released over the next couple of weeks on this particular channel. I hope you'll join me in this collecting journey. Thanks, guys, and have a great night.